Take it easy.
Mystery teams, Danny. Did you hear about this?
Oh, I did.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Look, there's a report from Adam Schefter, okay?
Yeah.
There's one, maybe more than one team that currently has a coach that reached out to Harbaugh. Which coach, maybe a coach in the playoffs, should be nervous about this mystery report?
I think a lot of coaches should be.
Coaches in the playoffs?
Well, just period. Because we'll see if Tampa keeps their coach, for example. We'll see if Todd Bowles survives. Like, that's another one who could be added to the list. But to answer it directly in the playoffs, there's a lot of weird smoke around Matt LaFleur. And I personally, I like Matt LaFleur. I personally would rather Matt LaFleur than John Harbaugh coach my football team.
Danny loves the offensive genius who's never won anything.
That's exactly right.
He loves that. There's nothing he loves more. Grizzled defensive coach with Super Bowl rings.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Guy who can design fancy plays. He loves it. Go ahead.
That's exactly correct. But the agent there is Brian Harlan, top coaching agent. Brother of Kevin Harlan, famous broadcaster, son of Bob Harlan, longtime Packers president. Very tied in with the Packers franchise. Matt LaFleur's been the 7 seed twice, has 1 playoff win.
He's 7 seed 3 times.
7 seed?
Every year with
year,
Jordan
too.
Love, they've been the 7 seed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I thought it was 6. Yeah, you're right. 7 seed last year. So, he's a very good coach, but could I see a world where there's just it's time for Matt LaFleur to move on. Harlan gets him another gig. Harbaugh slides in, goes to the NFC, goes to Green Bay, still has a quarterback there. I could see that game of musical chairs playing. But the tricky part of this conversation, guys, is that it makes sense in a ton of places. We could throw out Buffalo. Yeah, I could see it. Throw out Philly. Yeah, I could see it. Like, John Harbaugh is an excellent coach, so I think there's probably 20-something teams that are going to at least have the conversation.
Here's my thing, and look, if I'm Baltimore, I'd love Matt LaFleur.
Well, just Coach
You want to
Swap.
trade?
Too late.
Too late.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm Green Bay, I'm not moving on from Matt LaFleur. I'd at least give him another year. But this year it was injuries. I just think he's a really good coach. I'm kind of with you on that. Harbaugh, see, I like Harbaugh better in a franchise that needs stability. It needs a veteran coach with a Super Bowl ring to come in and set the culture and give us something we haven't really had in a long time, a la Atlanta, a la the New York Giants or somebody like that. If I'm Buffalo or one of these teams that's close but hasn't been able to get over the hump, why am I picking John Harbaugh when I don't have as much talent as Baltimore? And Buffalo can say they got the same level of quarterback, but most teams can't even say that. Now, I do like him in Cincinnati with Nick. I thought that was a great idea. I hadn't really thought about that. But Cincinnati's not really there right now, So I just don't see – if I'm Buffalo, I feel like McDermott to Harbaugh might be a lateral move. Pittsburgh, to me, he's a lot like Tomlin. So – I would rather see him, if I'm one of these teams that needs to build my thing up, that's where I'm interested in Harbaugh. So but not one of those contenders.
So to answer, before I go through the teams, your point on if you're Buffalo or one of these teams, be like, he couldn't get over the hump in Baltimore, why would he here? The answer to that could be for some organizations because they feel like John Harbaugh is not the reason they can get over the hump.
Yeah.
They don't. The reason is because they have an MVP quarterback except for in the playoffs. I'm not trying to rehash that.
A lot of people feel like he's gotten over the hump.
Right. He got over the hump with Joe Flacco, who is more popular now than he was when he was in the prime of his career, and they lose games on drops and missed kicks. Right. And the best team that they ever had, that 2023 team, the defense didn't they held that Chiefs team to 17 points. The offense died in that game, and there was 3 turnovers. But they stopped running the ball. No, they said no. Of course, and so I'm not arguing. This is really just like a devil's advocate. Like if I'm the Pagulas who own Buffalo, and it's like, hey, why would he get us over the top when he couldn't get it over the top? They might feel like because our quarterback's awesome in the playoffs and his hasn't been, so he would be better than McDermott. He wouldn't get as tight because he's champion. But there's 14 teams in the playoffs. Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Houston, the Chargers, Seattle, Chicago, the Rams, San Francisco, and I'm going to include Carolina, are unequivocally not moving on from their coach.
Yeah.
So there's 4 that are even just possibilities. Pittsburgh, I do not think is doing it.
Right.
I think that the 10 wins, the way they won. Now, maybe if they get annihilated in this playoff game, that would change things. But I also don't think Pittsburgh, if they moved on from Tomlin, would be like John Harbaugh. It just feels, it feels like it would be too similar. So it leaves 3 teams, and you alluded to all of them. The one that, if I were the coach, I would be the most nervous, is the one who's won the Super Bowl, in Nick Sirianni, because he is the one whose owner and GM have proven, I don't care. I drafted Carson Wentz, number 2 overall, gave him a huge contract. I don't care. We think we can be better. We hired Chip Kelly, gave him a ton of money. He had some. We moved on for Andy Reid to hire him. He had some success, 10 wins.
2 years straight.
I don't care. Doug Peterson, you won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles and then won a playoff game with Nick Foles. I don't care. And Nick Sirianni has made even his biggest supporters this year a little squeamish. And there is one way to look at Nick Sirianni's tenure is, in the last 4 years, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Won one, lost one. Another way to look at it is, if they were to lose this weekend badly, in the last 4 years, 2 times, they have collapsed at the end of the year and had embarrassing playoff exits with as talented a team as they have in the league. Like
pretty glass
again,
half empty.
That of course, but
That's how they kind of look at it, is what you're
right.
saying.
And so if I were Sirianni, Danny, that's the one, because I also think Buffalo, if they move on, I think they would be moving on to go with, what if we got Josh Allen, an offensive-minded head coach? You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like that's the idea. They wouldn't be moving on. So Green Bay's a good one, but I think Philly would be the one I'd be nervous
Can I put a take chip on the board to get your reaction before we do some cool stats?
Sure, I got some goals.
If I'm Harbaugh, I'm looking around, and tell me if I'm missing anybody. Tomlin was an assistant, came over from Minnesota, I think, to get the Steelers job. Everybody in the AFC was an assistant that immediately got a job from basically a promotion into a different head job. Vrabel got fired, sat, waited for a nice job to open up. Peyton left, sat, waited for a very lucrative job to open up, and took it. I think sitting, it's not sexy to talk about. Like, I bet he hangs out for a year and then has his choice of jobs.
So Jim Harbaugh apparently said that he thinks he'll coach next year, which is relevant because he's his brother. And the question was about playoff bounds coach, so I didn't make it my answer. John Harbaugh's first NFL job in Philadelphia under Andy Reid. Any shot?
What do you mean? Any shot? What?
Sit out a year and replace Andy Reid in a year?
If
yeah,
Andy,
you can't give that take
I
at
think
509.
so.
I mean, he's only 4.5 years younger than Andy.
The thing is, and I don't think Andy's only
Really?
coaching one more.
Isn't
year.
that shocking?
63.
Yeah.
I think he's 63.
Yeah, I don't. John Harbaugh and Colin Cowherd are in a competition for the youngest-looking 62-year-old.
I know. Wow.
Colin turned 62 yesterday. Harbaugh 63. It's unbelievable.
He wakes up early and goes to the gym. I saw that.
So can I just respond to your
Yeah.
thing real quick? I'm not trying to dismiss yours. I just don't think Andy's retiring in a year. And I
Probably
don't
not.
think it's going to be like, I'm just going to sit here and wait. But the other reason I liked Philly was because Harbaugh had been there. I would give Harbaugh that advice if these are the only jobs that come open. If I'm John Harbaugh, I don't necessarily want the number 1 pick with the Raiders, maybe. The prestige franchise with the Giants, maybe. Brew likes the Falcons more than me. But if I have the opportunity to go to Philadelphia, I am there immediately. Green Bay with no owner, and I just have that job the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I said, I know they're on the playoffs. If I were Cincinnati, I would fire Zach Taylor to hire John Harbaugh.
Yeah, they won't, though.
No, I mean, they don't like to.
Well, it's time now for one of the coolest segments you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay? We're going to start this off with a stat about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. That is just, I've been told, is really cool. It's time for another edition of the coolest segment about statistics on television. It's called Pack Stats with a Briefcase. You don't need to do the gloves. It slows.
I like them, Wilds. They're cool.
That's true.
It's all part of it. I bring the coolest stats to you. You know what else is cool other than these gloves?
What?
Standards.
That's true.
In Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin likes to say the standard is the standard.
Yeah.
Has it been? Mike, you're on a 6-game playoff losing streak. You're a defensive coach. And in those playoff losses, your defense has allowed 38 points per game. And quarterbacks are throwing to an 18-1 touchdown to interception ratio against them. Maybe if that kick goes in, John Harbaugh gets an extra week and Mike Tomlin's the coach in the AFC North without a job right now. If C.J. Stroud and the Texans light up Mike Tomlin's defense,
that would be shocking.
Well, Blake Bortles lit him up.
I mean,
Baker
the Blake
Mayfield did it
Bortles
when he was
one
on
is
the
the
Browns.
really tough one.
Baker when he was on the Browns.
Baker's a great player.
In Cleveland? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it could happen. Look, I don't see him getting fired, but I could see. I feel like I could see a mutual parting of the ways.
I don't think so. Again, maybe if they get blown out. So I shouldn't say. I'm not trying to dismiss it. I guess part of this is because I do not think. I think having this Texans offense putting up those types of points might be worse than the Jags with Blake Bortles doing it. This Texans offense has been moribund throughout.
You got a better quarterback, obviously.
Oh, definitely have a better quarterback, but that Jags.
No, it's been bad, though.
Should we talk a lot about the 2017 Jags?
Honey, come in here. They're talking Bortles.
Miles Jack.
Quickly.
Gather around.
Miles
Loving
Jack
it,
fumble
everybody.
recovery.
Hey.
They whistled dead.
Turn on first things first overtime.
This isn't predictive that Stroud will do it. I think it's instructive, though. Like Mike Tomlin, known for his defense, they have the highest paid defense in the NFL. They're not designed to get into shootouts. Like, if the defense does falter again in the postseason to a bad offense, to a questionable quarterback, it's going to be something that will be at. Okay, so you haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and your defense gets worse in the playoffs. Like, Lamar gets worse in the playoffs. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
If Mike Tomlin defenses keep getting worse in the playoffs,
How much chatter do you think? I know you guys are buddies with Filippone, does Pittsburgh radio. I mean, locally, I think it's going to get loud, obviously, but we kind of get swept up in the fervor of the playoffs that going 0 for 7 in your last.
Oh, I don't think here's.
It kind of just goes by the wayside.
Except here's the
on
reason.
Patriots
Again, if
are-
you're talking about like the chatter.
Yeah, just
outside
how
of
much
local,
pressure.
I mean, oddly, this isn't about Mike Tomlin being 12-0 at home on Mondays, but this is about it being on Monday. I think more chatter because it's the only playoff game, and on two, like if this game were one of the 5 games Saturday, Sunday, then like the spotlight on Monday TV wouldn't so much be on Tomlin. Right. But Tuesday, this game is the winner is the story and the loser is the story. So in that regard, but I think the fact that the Steelers, it's not just a 6-game losing streak, it's that they have been annihilated. It's not. They're not close. They're not the Ravens' playoff losses over the last decade. They have every game. It has looked like they didn't deserve to. Almost every game that they didn't deserve to be there.
That was cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. You know what else is cool? Standing up to bullies. You got to do it.
That's true.
You got to stand up to bullies. That's what you always say, bro.
Yeah,
And frankly,
I like that.
Wilds' Patriots kind of been bullies. So Justin Herbert's going to stand up to them.
That's true.
The Patriots have been picking on bad quarterbacks. When they play a quarterback who has merely made a Pro Bowl at any time in his career, yeah, Josh Allen, but I'm also talking about Geno, Tua, Lamar.
Geno.
Yeah, that's
Wilds, Geno.
Geno.
Week 1, Geno looked great.
Against a quarterback who has ever made a Pro Bowl this year, they're 4-3 with a passer rating of 108.1 allowed. 10-0 with a passer rating of 82.1 against all others. Those others, Cam Ward, Spencer Rattler, Michael Penix, Joe Flacco. Never made a Pro Bowl, Joe Flacco. Dylan Gabriel, and others.
KW, you look like you're fact checking.
Pretty bad.
I'm just shocked. I'm going. Who are the 4? Tua.
Which one do you want? You want the Pro Bowlers?
Yeah.
Josh Allen twice.
Yep.
Geno, Tua, Baker, Rodgers, Lamar. 4-3 again. 10-0.
Oh, the guy.
A little shook. Justin Herbert, he's made Pro Bowls. just letting you know.
I mean,
that is true.
You're speechless.
You're
you're
stunned.
I mean, I guess so.
But
Yeah, we lost
Wow.
We lost to Geno Smith and the Raiders week 1.
no, I think it's more about the quarterback rating allowed was the point. So what a 108 rating allowed to the quarterbacks who have ever,
If you've got a
invited to
pulse
Hawaii?
and you play this
can't
Patriots
beat
team,
good-
But the other games that we lost, I don't think Rodgers did much at all. Like I wonder if the high rating was against games that we won. I don't know. I'm confused by the stat. That's why I should probably prepare.
Can I just ask a question real quick?
prepare
Brew,
for
did
him.
you understand the stat?
I understood the
I understood
stat
it perfectly.
perfectly.
No, I'm saying,
Good quarterbacks beat you.
in the games that we lost, Rodgers didn't do anything.
And what about Josh Allen?
We
You
lost
guys
the
lost
game.
that game.
And Josh Allen was good. So
Yeah.
we went 1-1 with Josh. Rodgers didn't do anything, and I don't remember Geno playing out of his
we just took the
mind.
quarterback rating of the 7 games against teams that you
Danny,
played Pro Bowlers
you know
with.
what's not cool? Explaining
Explaining it's like a comedian explaining a joke.
It is
Everybody
what it
got
is,
it.
He's just
man.
genuinely confused.
Wiles has a mental. Honestly,
All right,
and I say
explain
this.
it. Thank
I
you.
say
No,
this with
I'm saying
love
the
and
games
affection.
that we lost,
I
we
know
didn't
what-
lose because the quarterback
KW,
lit us up.
I know that's what.
why I was
I know
Bills.
that's. I know that's what you're saying.
One.
KW, I know that's what you're saying. And what
Aaron
I'm
Rodgers
saying is
played a smart game.
you have a mental block that any potential Patriot red flag
Yes, absolutely.
alert flags in your brain as this has to be false.
No, it's not.
Okay. Okay.
The flag is this. I wonder if the four that you see, those quarterbacks were actually played better than the 3 games.
Even if that's true, I think the point is the quarterbacks who have any type of accolades collectively in wins or losses have put up good numbers, and the quarterbacks who have no accolades you shut down. So is there a chance Herbert's going to put up good numbers, which I think most people would think would give the Chargers a better chance to win?
Perhaps.
That's the point, Nick. Good job.
That's what I thought. I'm sure it was very confusing.
it's
to a lot of
incorrect.
people. Okay.
It's incorrect.
We can't talk about the Patriots.
No, I just think it's incorrect.
Well, that's a problem because they're the 2 seed in the playoffs. But you know what else is cool, guys? Symmetry.
Oh, good.
Symmetry is the coolest. And in Bills Jaguars, it's a battle of best v best. The #1 ranked rush offense in football against Jacksonville's #1 ranked rush defense.
Wow.
We don't often talk about that with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're #2 in the NFL in takeaways and #1 against the run. You guys had Eric Armstead, obviously, on the show. He's a big piece of that. It's the 6th time in playoff history that the top rushing offense has met the top rush defense in a playoff game. The rush defense has won the previous 3 meetings.
Oh.
How about that?
So, that also speaks to
for
they are going to need Josh Allen to play great, which is not a news flash, but that they're not going to be able to just run the ball down the Jags' throat. What up, KW?
The quarterback?
Josh Allen, the quarterback, not Josh Hines Allen. I know it's good. I know that actually is the people getting confused between Josh Allen and Josh Hines Allen is more common than anyone being confused about that Pat stat that everyone understood. No one understood.
Wanted to make it
stats.
clear. Big letters, big numbers.
This is Josh Allen, the quarterback, needs to play great because
I'm saying that.
You're saying that
defense is good
the
too.
stat kind of illustrates whichever one of these things kind of breaks through. Like, will the Jags' rush defense succumb to the #1 rush
Yes.
offense, or will be able to overcome it?
Can I ask you a question, Brew?
Yeah.
Because it feels like this is the one game this weekend. I think I know who you're picking in every other game. I'm not going to say it right now, but this is the one game that I'm guessing you're on the fence on.
You know
Yeah.
who
Am I
have in this
correct?
game?
Yeah,
Okay,
I know
just wanted
who
to-
you have in this
I
game.
just
I
wanted-
know. I definitely know who you're picking in every game.
Early in the week, I was leaning probably Jacksonville, but now right now I'm leaning Buffalo.
Can I tell America who you're picking in every game, Danny?
Yeah,
All the
you wanna
favorites except Herbert. That's the answer.
Are the Bears favored?
Yes, I guarantee
Bears
it.
favored?
Yeah, they are. I guarantee
Depends on where
Danny
you
is
shop.
rolling with all the favorites except for Justin Herbert. Mark it down. Parkins picks Friday afternoon.
Oh, wow. What a good friend promoting the future segment.
no, it's
Yeah.
all the content. You know what? Do you have anything else?
That was cool.
Well, I went 3 for 3 on cool stats according to these guys. 2 for 3.
That
according
was
to you.
cool. That was a cool stat.
Thanks.
That was really cool.
We've got Willie Colon and Coach Mangini out here. Gentlemen, the regular season is over. It is time to make the case for the MVP award. It is a 2-man race, according to all accounts, between Matt Stafford, the current favorite, slight favorite, and Drake Maye, not too far behind him. The odds have gone back and forth the last couple of weeks. And when you look at their season resumes, I think it's totally understandable as to why. Maye has him slightly in yards, same turnovers. Stafford obviously crushes him in touchdowns. Maye has him slightly in rating, and obviously with 2 more wins for his team. So I think this is going to be the closest MVP vote since Adrian Peterson and Peyton Manning were separated by just over 10. It was 10.5 first place votes. That was back in 2012. Could be even closer. We, of course, have had multiple split MVPs, 97, 2003. I think it's going to be very close. So here's how I see the case for Drake Maye's MVP candidacy, because I think it's a unique one in terms of a second-year player, and some of it is based analytically. So I put up together some categories here. He leads in yards, passer rating, completion percentage, and yards per pass. Pretty good. Has the highest passer rating in NFL history for a quarterback that was sacked 45 or more times. Now, maybe that's my Justin Herbert bias showing, but doing this while you're the 4th most sacked quarterback in the league, he has the highest passer rating in NFL history for a quarterback with 45 or more sacks. Under pressure this year, a passer rating of 103. Like, when he was pressured, his numbers did not dip at all. Right. Very abnormal for a quarterback, much less a second-year guy. The advanced numbers all love him. The EPA, the completion percentage over expected. He's like an analytics darling. But he did have the easiest strength of schedule of any team in NFL history since 1999. So that, you saw the counting stats. Those are, I think, the other relevant details. Coach, does anything there jump out to you as being particularly relevant or not for Drake Maye's MVP case?
Well, I knew that their strength of schedule was the weakest in the NFL. I didn't realize it was the weakest.
The weakest since the 99 Rams.
That part to me is pretty amazing. What I would say in terms of the sack number, that's a concern for me. And I know that, and Willie, you must hate this, it's always put on the O-line.
Facts.
But the reality is that the O-line plays a part, but if the quarterback's moving around, the O-line doesn't know where that guy is, they're going to get sacked more often. If they hold the ball, they're going to get sacked more often. So the sack stat, it's an O-line related stat, but it's a cumulative stat between the O-line and the quarterback. So I don't love that part of it. I do think you have to give him a lot of credit for having a new offensive coordinator, although he got a great one in Josh, and having a new head coach, but there was a significant learning curve that comes into play with that. So there's a lot of reasons to really like Drake Maye. The 1999 stat is stunning.
Yeah, I mean, I give him the nod from this standpoint that I think he's ahead of schedule, right? Being a second-year quarterback with a new head coach, the way he looks like, the way he's been playing this season, he looks like a guy that's in year 4 or 5, and I think that's where you can hang your hat on. And on top of that, he comes across as a leader. You know, I watched him at the end of the game against the Bengals, man. Stephon Diggs and all these guys can't talk enough about him, how much they love his leadership, his poise, his calm, and the fact that he's really, the way he communicates on the field and how he handles himself on the sideline really speaks volume. So I think overall, those are the little details I like. But, you know, he had a hell of a year, man. There's no doubt about it.
What about the idea of, you don't like the sack part of it, but also the passer rating under pressure? Just when he's pressured, he still is relatively efficient. And also the shocking nature of it. Like, they were supposed to be better. Everyone thought they were going to be better. But they were the 21st in terms of the Vegas odds to win the Super Bowl. And here they are as the 2 seed.
Yep.
Like, whereas Matt Stafford, and we'll get to his case in just a second, but like Matt Stafford's team coming in was expected to be better than Drake Maye's team.
Yeah. Now, that happens every year where there's a team that nobody thinks, it's Washington last year, right?
Yeah.
Nobody thinks they're going to do anything, and Vegas has them at really long odds, and they achieve better than expected. The under pressure part, is that statistic in terms of when he was facing extra blitzers, or is that
just when a pressure was registered, he had a passer rating of 103?
Right, but I'm saying could it be a 4-man rush where he was under pressure and they beat him, or is it, because that to me is a distinction, because if it's facing pressure, that could also be a function of coaching where, hey, we recognize this is their blitz set. If we get this blitz set, we want you to throw the wide receiver screen. Yeah.
Yep, I got you.
So I'm not. It's great, but I'm trying to figure out, is that a Drake Maye component, or is that a Drake Maye, Josh McDaniels?
So I think Josh McDaniels might win Assistant Coach of the Year. All right, so that's the Drake Maye case. And again, we're going to hold off on who we would vote for here till the end. Here's Matt Stafford's case for MVP as I see it. It's a very conventional one. He is the 4th quarterback ever with 45 or more touchdowns and less than 10 or fewer interceptions. And the previous 3, all won the MVP.
Right.
Right. Like that is it's a very easy place to start because leads the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns. Another very easy place to start. The other side of the Drake Maye easy schedule is Matt Stafford played an absolutely brutal schedule. Drake Maye against playoff teams this year, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Against non-playoff teams, 27 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Matt Stafford just played a lot more playoff teams than Drake Maye did. And I don't know how much you guys would value this, but I got to be fair. I knocked Jalen Hurts for the tush pushes and the 1-yard touchdowns. 8 1-yard touchdown passes when you've got Davante Adams, who is a Hall of Famer and elite at that, and 18 of his touchdown passes came from inside the 5-yard line. Those are both the highest in the NFL by far. Little bit of stat padding from Matt Stafford in terms of throwing inside the 1, inside the 5. You're skeptical.
I'm skeptical because you can't blame him from executing where the ball's at. I mean, it's still, there's not a lot of real estate for him to deliver and execute, but if you're getting it done, you're getting it done. I think in reference to his schedule, I mean, they had the 6th hardest schedule in the league. And when you talk about his talent and the way he performed this season, he's elevated everybody's game. You talk about the big year Puka had, Davante Adams, the fact that him and Sean McVay both have made this outfit for the last 3 years a Super Bowl contender. I love everything Matthew Stafford has been able to do, and I've been most impressed with his durability. Going into the season, there was a lot of talk if he can even hold up through 18 games because of his back and everything he endured last season. He's played all the games, played at a high level, and he is the lead dog for that franchise. So, yeah, for me, I know we don't want to give out MVP talk right now.
I think I know who yours is going to be.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't think you can look at 1-yard touchdown passes as stat padding. We see week in and week out where the team has the goal line defense in, there's one wide receiver split out, it's in man coverage. Everybody knows where the isolation is.
Right.
They throw the fade, it's incomplete. They throw the fade, it's incomplete. It's nowhere near the same level of success as like a tush push would have. So I think that's an unfair comparison.
It's a different level of execution.
And you do have to have a level of skill and understanding as to where to put the ball and the defender. So that to me is a little bit unfair. I do think he had a significant edge of same coordinator, same head coach, years of experience, been in the system. To Willie's point, though, we weren't sure whether he was going to play or not play going into the season, and we were talking about who the alternatives were. So for him to come out and play as well as he had against the schedule that he had is pretty impressive.
Fun little note here. Matt Stafford had 8 passing touchdowns from the 1-yard line, tied for the most since we began tracking this in 1991. Tied with Aaron Rodgers in 2020, who also won the MVP, but was also throwing to Davante Adams. Davante Adams, really good player, scoring touchdowns in close. All right, Willie, you got to vote. You should. I don't think you do, but you should. Who would you vote for MVP?
I got Matthew Stafford. The way he played this season, phenomenal. The way we look at the Rams because of him and Sean McVay and their scheme, he's the guy for me.
Yeah, I was talking to Wilds earlier in the week, and I was leaning towards Drake Maye just because of the significance of the turnaround and how much turmoil the organization was in last year, and the questions to some degree of whether or not Drake Maye was really going to live up to his draft status or not live up to it, and then he makes the huge jump that he makes with a roster that is piecemeal. The Pats have a significant amount of salary cap money next season because they didn't spend a lot of money putting this group together. Young offensive line, all those things I give him tons of credit for, but when you look at the level of touchdowns, what's the 15 touchdown difference?
No, it was what, 46 to it was 11. I can do the math. Yeah, 11.
I need some help with math, obviously. But that
46 to 35.
That number is pretty. Yeah, but you're kind of the running touchdowns.
Yeah, total touchdowns.
Yeah, so that number to me is too great to not give him.
Can I also ask, do you think? Because I was listening to the trolls, and I know we try not to do that, even though we sometimes are one of the trolls. Do you think this is a lifetime achievement award if Stafford gets it, considering that he had the big year in 2011?
I think the Lifetime Achievement Award argument is the worst argument in this entire discourse.
Okay.
That is not what the award is.
Good, because I think his numbers this year stand alone.
That's what the Hall of Fame is for.
Okay.
Hall of Fame is a Lifetime Achievement Award. If you want to say the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award for like a lifetime of service, and it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. But the idea, no, who was the best this year? My vote is actually Drake Maye. The touchdown argument, I can't refute, but most valuable player. If I focus on the keyword of value, it's a lot of what you were just talking about. Matt Stafford has Sean McVay. He has Puka Nacua, who is going to be first-team All-Pro at wide receiver. He's got Devontae Adams, who will wear a gold jacket one day. The supporting cast that Drake Maye has is maybe better than we thought. And I'm not saying that Vrabel and McDaniels are not also excellent coaches, but as for a second-year player to do it with this supporting cast and add 10 wins year over year and have the level of efficiency and numbers and have a top 3 offense, I gotta, if I had a vote, and I should, I would cast it for Drake Maye. And I really think this is going to be close. I think people are going to be very split on the conventional case for Stafford and then the more like analytically inclined case for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I think I give it to Stafford because of the division he plays in with Purdy and Sam Darnold there. He's had some big-time shootouts, come out on top. His numbers speak for themselves. And I just think he's had the better share. And you're talking about most valuable. I don't think there's anybody more valuable than Matthew Stafford for the Rams.
And May played the Jets, who had no interceptions in 17 games.
Yeah, listen, I can't argue against the Jets.
Twice.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.